Welcome to the show. A man who's cemented himself in the Collingwood forward line. He's played in 2 grand finals. He's won 1. Chris Dawes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, mate. Massive game last night. Carlton Collingwood at their G. Over 80,000 people there. Let's check the scores, Sammy.
Collingwood's performances that we're getting quite used to, just even all over the ground. But I guess a couple of outstanding performances at either end. There was Heath Shaw in defence, but best on ground was Jared Blair in attack. Finished with a really handy 5 goals. His story, Chris, is quite remarkable, as is yours. But if we can concentrate on his for a minute, he's played 12 games and in his 12th he played in a premiership. He is very short. He kind of defies logic for football. He's also doing very well. Currently leading the Coleman. Tell us a bit about this guy.
Well, I suppose, yeah, as we've heard, it's a pretty remarkable story that he's been able to, in his 12th game, not only play in a premiership, but, you know, have a big contribution in that, and then to start the season how he has. These first 3 games, and especially last night with 5 goals, is pretty impressive, I think.
It was a magnificent effort. Now, the game went live last night, Chris, which the punters absolutely loved. Channel 7 put off Better Homes and Gardens, and we're all very happy about a live coverage of the footy. But they did manage to sneak in a couple of Better Homes and Gardens ads. I wasn't sure about their placement, to be honest with you.
Wallingham taken to ground. Blair does brilliant.
Better Homes and Gardens. Back next week.
Really, just a little bit blatant, I thought there. They could have been a little more subtle.
I think so.
One of the showcase moments of the 7 coverage last night, and I think for everyone watching, was the big moment. Collingwood really played it down, didn't go over the top, but when they unfurled their premiership flag from last year, they held it off for a couple of weeks, wanted it to be at the MCG, wanted to be playing against Carlton. Yeah. Very nice touch, I might say, there on a serious note, to have Simon Prestigiacomo, who was an emergency for the first grand final.
And Sam, sorry to interrupt. Presti is still on the roof if someone can go and get him down as well.
And that flag was stolen before half-time.
Very nice touch having him there. Chris, interesting that you guys were nowhere to be seen at that point. This celebration was not for you, it seems, it was for the fans. Why weren't you out there and enjoying that moment?
Well, I think you're spot on. It was for the fans and the supporters who it meant so much to, that we were able to do that, especially after, you know, a 20-year drought. And for us, it wouldn't have made sense for us to be getting carried away in the celebrations of something that happened last year. We had to be preparing for the game.
Were you given that option as a group?
No, I don't think we were, but that said, we wouldn't have taken it anyway, because we knew we had to play well enough to beat Carlton last night.
Hey, Dawes, I want to ask you about your frame. You are a massive, massive man, and before you were drafted, I mean that
thanks
seriously.
a lot, mate. How do you think that makes me feel? Unbelievable.
There was a school of thought prior to you being drafted that maybe the bigger frame players like yourself were going to be edged out of the game. You needed more athletic types, and then you did your knee, which probably meant you slipped down to pick 28 in the draft. Was that a question mark over you before you started playing?
I don't know. Well, going into the draft, I thought I'd get rookied at best, and then once I did my knee, I thought, probably won't get picked up this year, and I was going to have to, get on a VFL list and work my way back in that way. But I think that was just because I wasn't, that complete a footballer, and I never thought about my frame being the issue there. But it makes sense. I'm not super quick, and you need that speed in the modern game, I think.
Yeah, Chris, if at any point tonight you're uncomfortable with Dawes flirting with you, just let us know.
Carlton, you had the flag, but Carlton, I think, also had an interesting lead-in to the match, and they exceeded the expectations, I think, of many. But have a look at this vision that we saw. This is a motivator that Luke Darcy will recognise, because he was at the Bulldogs until very recently. I gather he's a boxing coach by the name of Tim Smith. Now, by the looks of things there, he is holding up a tipping chart where I'm sure that the tipsters and the experts tipped Collingwood.
Or the tipsters got it right.
Well, they did. Yeah. But he was using that to motivate the Carlton players. That's kind of really old school, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting technique. I don't think we've had anything like that, certainly not in my time. But
looked to me like someone had filled in his crossword. Who did this? Who did this? Somebody has done that crossword.
Timmy Smith is a boxing coach and was at the Bulldogs. He's a lunatic, Timmy, and he goes off his brain. But the old school rev up is fantastic. I reckon we need to see.
You're a fan of the old school rev up?
I love the old school rev up. I reckon, not know if it works, but it's good fun. It makes me laugh to see it.
It's good theatre.
You know what we need to see more of as well? We need to see more of the talk, Dawes. And you went for one on the weekend that was just extraordinary. Talk us through what you're thinking here on the siren.
About time I got a touch. And then
You've gone mad.
Have you got a licence to kick a barrel? What is Mick happy with you to do that?
well, I think just, the siren had gone, and if I could get one to bounce the right way, it could have snuck through for a score.
thinking.
To be fair, mate, you would have needed Cyclone Yarsi behind you there to put that one through the goals.
Still a stat.
It is still a stat. You're absolutely right. Have you got yourself in Supercoach? Should get the kicks up. Hey, we noticed last year on the show that Bomber Thompson had a very special sign-off whenever he did an interview post-match with Tim Watson. Now, we'll roll it here so you can see exactly what Bomber's sign-off was with Tim Watson.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, mate.
Thanks again for your time.
Okay, mate.
There it is. Okay, mate. And since we identified that, a lot of players have signed off with Tim Watson using the okay, mate. And Luke Ball gave it a crack last night.
Luke, congratulations. Well done tonight.
Okay, Tim.
Technically, it's okay, mate, but you had a go, so it's good.
Hey, Chris, I have to ask you, I had recovery this morning. Everyone pull up okay after the game? Yeah, it's all good?
As far as I know, yeah.
What's the deal? Obviously, you're allowed to do what you like in terms of transport, because we've got a picture of one of your boys, the big fella here, Clokey, who's leaving recovery. He's on a motorbike and disappearing. That's cool. There he is leaving, and I wonder where he's going after that, don't you, when you see him departing from the ground? Oh, there he is. Knocking over 7-Eleven on the way home from training. Yes, that's fantastic stuff.
All right, Chris, hang around. We're going to have a break. But up after the break, the latest player manager making waves in the industry. We'll be hearing a lot more from player manager Greg Grove and across the years. Chris Dawes from the Collingwood Football Club still in the studio with us now. Chris, you are one of the 50 finalists in Cleo's 50 most eligible bachelors this year. There you are, just a lazy Sunday morning. They caught you unawares there. How's it going for you? Are you getting a few votes? Have you got the publicity machine working overtime?
No idea, no. Look, I haven't been too active on the campaign trail.
Right,
I think you should talk it up.
You should talk it up. We speak to Harry O'Brien on Mix FM each week. He gives you a plug every week, encouraging people to vote for you.
I think he's just trying to deflect from the fact he was on TV in a tutu.
Right, okay. Well, I know for a fact a lot of people have been voting for you, a lot of the Collingwood faithful, but I think they're having some issues spelling your name. Because if we go to the voting chat, we actually got in touch with Cleo. Here are the votes. You've received from the Collingwood fans, Chris Dawes, 2,197. But then also Chris Paws, 1,245. Yeah, and John Laws, 845. They're really struggling here. And Dawes Plus, 3,973. So you might want to just clarify the spelling of your name there for the fans.
I'm going to question your eligibility as a Cleo Bachelor of the Year. And now I don't want to be a whistleblower here, but I think there's someone in your life, someone quite important, and I've got some footage to prove it. Let's go. Here, in my book, that's spoken for. Look at this, and just when you think hello, what the? By the way, could I get the number of that trainer off you at some stage? Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
I think that speaks for itself.
Deny, Chris.
Deny.
There's more to your life, clearly, than Cleo and glossy magazines. In fact, you're studying law, and I was interested in a pre-match interview that Mick Malthouse did last night when he spoke about you early days at the club, and you joined, I think, at the end of 2006, and he said that you probably overanalyse things a little bit much. Were you kind of approaching football as another subject, or where did that come from?
I don't think so. I think it was just sort of, that's the way I deal with things, and obviously frustrations I had with my footy was to try and think my way through them, whereas I probably needed to find a better balance of being an instinctive footballer, which so many of the good players are, and try and find that balance of still thinking about the game but not overthinking it, I think.
That's a problem being smart in football, Chris. It's not always an asset. Actually remind me a little bit of Will Minson, who arrived at the Bulldogs and he spoke fluent German, he played the clarinet and the saxophone, and he was doing engineering, and within a week he'd turned into a bogan. The footy had actually got him back. How are you coping with all the ferals at Collingwood? You're too smart for them, but have they dragged you down to your level?
No.
Plenty of future clients if you're studying law.
You wouldn't have much in common with a few of the boys, let's be honest.
Oh, we all love playing footy.
It's not surprising when you do your research, guys, because you come from a long line of academics. In fact, your father runs an antiquarian bookstore for rare and outdated books. I think we've got a picture of you in the bookstore with a homeless person. Oh, no, that's your dad. So do you go when you're sick of your teammates and you don't want to catch up with them? Do you just go and hang out in the bookshop? Is that the way? What do you do down there?
That was the first and only time I think I've been into Dad's shop there.
I did go in and have a look around. There's some fantastic books on offer. These are, as I said, very old and very rare, but I've managed to snaffle a couple. This is from about the 1800s. Have a look there. It's Mick Malthouse, The Happy Years. Very bad. And here's one I liked, a bit of dust floating around just for verification. I'd have a look at this. This is one of my favourites, The Many Hairstyles of Kevin Bartlett. Very thick indeed. So there's lots of fine reading down there.
It's about 800 pages worth there. Yeah. Chris, thank you very much for coming in. Pies are travelling beautifully. All the best for the rest of the season. And I hope your form keeps up. You're doing very, very well. Hang around, folks. Brisbane coach Michael Voss after the break.